Hey everybody, Tanya Diamond, TEDxWoodinville 2023 organizer, back with another speaker. Yes, there are a lot of speakers because we're all doing 9-minute and under talks. I'm talking, everybody's doing 9-minute and under talks. We can actually have 20 speakers on our stage at our event. So wow, okay. And here is the lovely, fabulous Cheyenne, ready to introduce herself and tell us why TEDx.
Oh man. My name is Cheyenne Burnett, as Tony mentioned. I am a women's health warrior and the founder of explantSecrets.com. And I have been through an interesting journey that I didn't know I was planning. And TEDx has always been a platform that I personally respect greatly and I go to on a regular basis, right? Because it's real people talking about real things. And this is a very real topic that was really important for me to share. And it just only made sense that the platform that is one of the most respected in the world would be the place that I could use to serve women the best.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just because maybe somebody's ear hasn't heard this before, she didn't say expats.
No.
You said
I did say it kind of quickly. It's explantSecrets.com.
plant secrets. Okay. So now you have to tell us just a little bit more about that so everybody's with the program and what you're doing.
Right. So women's health warrior, I ended up suffering severely from breast implant illness, which is what my entire talk is about. It's what my goal to share is. It's what my primary focus in life is. It's what my my message is all about, is educating women on the real nature of this illness and what it means for us that suffer from it and what we can do about it.
Yeah. So explants, opposite of implants.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Removal of implants.
All right, great. Yeah, I love that. Okay, awesome. Removal of, I have a weird implant story. When I was in my 20s, I had a severe TMJ. And so back then they were like, oh, well, we're just going to go in there and take your little disc out. Your natural disc is stuck. We're going to take it out. We're going to put this little silastic disc in your jaw. No big deal. It'll replace it. No worries. It's safe, whatever, right? Okay. Yeah.
You'll be fine.
And of course I was like, yeah, okay, sure. Because I was in such horrific pain. Literally anything would have been fine. And it was about 6 months. I was out of pain for the first time in a decade. It was amazing. I was like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. When all of a sudden there was like just this weird feeling. And I'm like, something is not quite right. It's like, Well, come to find out, I went in and the thing was disintegrating in my face. And so I had chunks. So I had to go in and have another surgery to try to remove all the chunks. And they said everything was fine, but you're going to be bone on bone. We don't know how that's going to go. Mostly only bone on bone is 60 plus years old. We have no data on how you're going to go through your life. But the worst problem is, and I know this goes to your heart of what you're saying too, is most people do not look at their post-surgical reports. Well, I'm a geek. I was going to be a neurosurgeon. So I love medicine and biology and stuff. So I actually ordered up. I wanted to keep the disc, first of all. That was my first thing. I wanted to watch the surgery. Could you guys videotape this? But I wanted to keep the disc. And they said that was impossible. And then when I read my post-surgical report, I found out why. And that's because it had, been eaten by my body and fallen apart on its own, and they couldn't retrieve it all. So there was the potential that some of this was in my lymph nodes, right, and other places in my face, sitting on a nerve, whatever, going to migrate around. Right. Anyway, so that's one of the reasons that I, not having breast implants, but having had an implant at 100% was a yes to your talk. Okay, so not that we need to know that,
which I'm so thankful for.
But yes. Okay. So has TEDx always been, has it been a dream? And how did you end up like finally pulling the trigger? Like now is the time, or getting on a program? And are you with a program?
I am. And you know what? No, TEDx was not always my dream. I'm an entrepreneur a serial entrepreneur. I've consistently done a lot of things in my life. I love working for myself. I love being out there, and I've been in the women's health space for quite some time. But TEDx, I never really pictured myself being a TEDx speaker, which is so funny to me because, like I said, I've respected the platform for a decade. Like, it's always been something that I truly respect every single person that steps on that stage. So I never connected myself as a TEDx speaker until my darling husband, Brad, he brought it up because I kind of shifted my focus, right? I got really, really sick. And through that process, I decided then that I was going to document what I was going through, and had no idea what I was going to do with that documentation. I just felt like I really needed to document it. And so I started documenting my journey. And as everything started to unfold and I had my surgery to remove my implants and I got better, I just started pursuing being an advocate for this, and it just naturally kind of came into place. And Brad found Thought Leader, and I had never heard of Thought Leader before, but he's like, I think you should really consider doing this. And I'm like, what is this? I looked into it, and long story short, obviously, I mean, I pulled the trigger on Thought Leader. That's how I met you. And I'm so grateful because it will be almost 12 months to the day that from the day I signed up with Thought Leader to the day I walk on the TEDx stage myself.
Wow.
And get to present my own really important message to the world on one of the most respected stages ever. So it's been awesome. And it's Brad's fault.
Yay, Brad. Way to go, Brad. So, okay. So having no idea, like literally just, this is it. Thanks, Brad. Did Brad have an idea of how much work and all this was going to be? So no, yeah, he did not. Did he?
Cool act. They were walking on a beach, right? That was like, and so yeah, no, neither one of us, I think, really processed what I was getting myself into.
Awesome. So how has that been? The flying, getting ready, the whole thing.
Amazing. It's been absolutely amazing. It has been a ton of work. But one thing that I've really come up against in this space, and I don't want to sound like a crazy person or a
no, it's not crazy. That's always more
right. Or a conspiracy, that word.
Yeah. Conspiracy.
Every time.
Yeah.
Thank you. That one still fell at that word. But I started gaining traction in this space, right? I became a pretty well-known name in the breast implant illness community. And as that started happening, I started having more and more issues with my social media. And ultimately ended up having an account with thousands of followers just deleted for no reason. I had a second account, basically I got kicked out of, and it won't let me back in, and that got deleted. And so it's been a really interesting journey getting through my message, right? And so as all of that was happening, I was pursuing TEDx, right? So I started submitting my applications, which that in of itself, like without your coaching and without Thought Leader, I don't think I would have made it even that far.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
There's a lot to it. I had no idea. I have a couple of friends that have actually submitted and been denied several times for various different talks, and their content is amazing. And so I feel very fortunate that I found you guys. But yeah, so I was going through all this crazy stuff, and I don't want to say it's because it's $1 billion industry that I'm coming up against, but there's possibilities there at least, right? And so it was really interesting because all of that was going on as I was working through Thought Leader, and I'm so grateful because ultimately I had to start all the way over, right? And I'm like, this is such an important message, and I can't give up on this. And I'm so grateful that even though it's been an enormous amount of work to start my social medias over and get my message out there, right? And work with Thought Leader at the same time, if I hadn't had Thought Leader building me up and had TEDx to look forward to, I would have been way more discouraged than I was having to start all over.
That makes sense. Yeah.
There's a lot of really about it.
Yeah. So I can tell you, as somebody who's really tech savvy, and I was one of the first women to make money online in 1992, that wasn't in the porn industry, which there's nothing wrong with. I'm just saying,
I support you on that statement.
know that people with big followings get hacked. So
Mhm.
it's a big following. Sometimes it's a big following versus a what you're talking about thing. So just know
Yeah,
that too. I mean, it could be
there's
multiple.
certainly.
Yeah.
Right. And
And
I'm not blaming, the plastic
no, no,
surgery
no,
industry's out to
no.
get me or anything crazy. There's just,
Yeah, it seems weird and timely.
it
And I
seems,
get kicked out of 80 groups myself in various things because I'm also the person that stands out against things that are popular. This is what you're doing.
right.
So, and disrupting industries is actually pretty darn important, because if there weren't people that are willing to step up and get loud and disrupt, then a lot of things in the world that eventually get uncovered, wouldn't. So I appreciate that. And I thank you for your courage to do that. And this is a tender topic. I mean, you know, there are a lot of women who are super confident and whatever else, and whether it's through cancer or something, breasts be gone or something going on, not having the breasts you want, whatever it is, it's a big deal. This really preys on our idea of femininity.
Directly.
Yeah,
It directly
absolutely.
attacks it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about, I guess I probably know the answer, but the audience doesn't. How do you feel about getting vulnerable on the stage with your personal story around all this?
I thankfully have been through a lot of opportunity in my life to be vulnerable, and I've really sat with this one, and this one it's a calling that I cannot ignore, and I will probably cry. I'm almost in tears right now.
That's
Right?
right. You're our crying speaker.
And that's okay.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
but there's a lot of feeling behind it, because don't get me wrong, like, I loved my breast implants, Tanya. I did not want to remove my breast implants, right? My breast implants tried to kill me.
Yeah.
And there's more important things, right? Like my baby, like, I deserve to be able to be a mom and raise him, and he deserves to have a mom there. And so it was an extremely emotional journey for me. And the reality is, it's an extremely emotional journey for every single woman that has to go through it. And if me being vulnerable and sharing the real side of this story, and like my surgery, there are so many amazing photos out there of women that are like, oh, I went in for surgery and I feel like crap. And then here's me day after surgery and I look flawless and amazing. And I did not look that way. I have exactly no photos that look good after surgery. Like, I had a really rough recovery. So all of my pieces were a little hard.
Hmm.
And I think it's really important, because social media is really good at helping us hide behind filtered photos and fake smiles. And I think this is a really important topic to be as honest and vulnerable as possible about, because it really is, like you said, it's at the core of what it means to be a woman in society right now.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of crazy when you put it in that perspective, but it truly is. Like, our breasts immediately impact how we feel about being a woman, regardless of if we're 10 getting our first training bra, or if we're 19 and are made fun of because we look like our brother, or we're 30 or 40 and have had babies and now our boobs don't look the same, right? Like, there's or cancer, right?
Yeah.
There's so many things about it. And so I truly sat with this one, and it's if me being vulnerable makes a difference for at least one other woman out there to go, you know what, it's okay that this sucks, and I'm going to do it anyway, so worth it.
Yeah. I hear you. And I'm super glad you're willing to do that, because I think it is, yes, as somebody who helps people with sexual issues as part of my coaching, I will tell you that, yes, this is something. Oh my gosh, my husband said that, or my boyfriend said that, or somebody ridiculed me with that. I had the opposite problem of being too busty at too young of an age and having all of that situation, which everybody then thinks, oh, that's be so great. Well, not necessarily, because everybody thought I was a slut just because I had boobs.
Plus,
Right.
they don't make cute bras for big boobs.
Well, yeah, thank you. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly right. Exactly right. Right. And unless they are super firm, you're going to get cut in and whatever, and all those cool crisscross things. And like, I love those things are not happening. So yeah, women and their boobs.
I got my own boobs after implants later. I was like, my boobs were bigger than my head. The strap-on bra tightness, miserable.
Yeah, it's a thing. I remember once going for a bra fitting, and when she put the Iron Maiden on me, I was like, yo, I'm just getting a reduction. So it's like, I know, right? So there's all these things, but boobs, and boobs. It's a big deal. And apparently what you're telling us is there are a lot of women sick and potentially dying because we are not coming to grips with this. And so once again, I'm honored to have you hit the stage and really let people know more about this. So the whole writing process and finding an idea and getting tight, reiteration after reiteration. This is not something people think about a lot, right? When they're thinking TEDx, it's like, for some reason people just think, oh, I wrote once and there it is.
Oh yeah, I totally wrote my first draft and was like, this is amazing. I'm incredible. I'm going to get on and show Tanya this script and she's going to be blown away and so excited to work with me. And then Tanya's like, you're cute. This is awesome, but let's go ahead and talk through some of these things. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
Why though, right? Like, thankfully you do that because you're so honest about the realness, and it's not like you were belittling in any way. I don't want to come across like that. Like, you're just an incredible speaker coach to work with, so I'm super grateful to even have you look at my stuff. But I definitely, like, this is something I'm so passionate about and I'm so ready to talk about that I was really confident about my message, right? And then you're like, yeah, but now I see why, right? The talk is like, my talk was originally like 16 minutes, right? Now we're down to 9, and like, talk about a really tight, straightforward proof of concept, proof of real issue message that women can digest and go, oh, that might be me. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's very true. I remember my first TEDx talk I wrote, like, wow. So it was eloquent writing, like my body ripped in half, feeling the universe flow out of my cells. It's like, wow. Okay. That's not conversational, Tanya. I'm like, what? That is some of the most beautiful writing I've done. It's in a book of mine that people are like, wow, that's awesome. Yeah, not quite the same thing. So I 100% understand. I tell speakers, like, if you haven't rewritten this like 50, 100 times, I'm not even impressed yet, because it is every single word you want to have, and especially when we're doing these tight talks, right, to the point. A lot of what we say is filler, and it's convincers, and it's things like that, when really we just need to get to a quick point. I was just finished up. I was a speaker coach and chief strategist for TEDx Cherry Creek HS. That just speakers. I went to the stage this last weekend, and one of the guys there, who's been a speaker for decades, came up to me later after his TEDx and said his best friend was there and said, that was incredible. You stayed on one single pointed topic. He goes, that was amazing. That's the power of staying on one place. So he goes, I know totally what to do right now. I'm like walking away here knowing exactly what you said and what I'm going to do. Love that. And that's what's going to happen when you do this.
Right. And for my particular topic, it's one that I really feel like there's a lot of questionable information floating around out there. There's a lot of fear associated with it. And so having a clear talk that they can listen to and have a clear, actionable direction to go to do more research or to find the solution for them, but have a clear starting point, I think is so critical. And so being able to have you coach me in making sure that that's exactly what I'm providing, because that's ultimately why I'm doing this, right? TEDx is amazing and I'm super excited, but ultimately the purpose I'm doing it is because I want to serve the women who are suffering like I did. And so if I can give that to them, it's going to be massively impactful. And that's only coming with rewrite.
Well, and so I was going to ask you the next question, which you alluded to, but I want you to just talk a little bit more about it. Like, so doing the TEDx journey can be expensive, long, tons of like blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Why, what's the ultimate, like not being on the stage, not about you, but what's the ultimate desire you have for this being out in the world?
Well, so for me, I have found in my experience and with the thousands of women that I've had the absolute honor to walk through this journey, I have found that no matter how many of us are there, this particular illness makes the woman feel very alone.
Mm.
We feel very singled out and fearful of so many pieces to this conversation. There's so many sides of it, right? There's the relationship side, there's the sex side, there's the individual love side and self-care love side. Like there's just so many pieces to it. And it's a very lonely journey. And up until this point, sorry, I'm gonna get emotional.
I'm sorry for that.
Up until this point, the people talking about it on TEDx have not really one, it's not really on there, right? Like breast implant illness is still a pretty not well-known topic. There's one wonderful doctor who did a presentation and her information was incredible, but I'm not a doctor. I'm a real person, right? I'm a mom. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not somebody that you can sit there and talk these big medical terms to, and I understand and know what you mean, right? And I'm not an idiot. But I have found that I think the medical community, so the doctor that did do a talk was amazing, right? But there's just not really the people talking about this are in the medical field. And because of that, it's not easy to digest. It's not easy to understand what's really happening all the time.
Well,
And
they're one step removed too, right? Unless
yeah,
they had it happen to them.
right. And we have consistently feel alone in this journey. And so I feel like having a real person get up there on, again, one of the most respected stages in the world, right? But a real person who is going to talk to you about their experience and share, you know, my journey with this and share real data that proves it. But I'm not a doctor. I'm hoping my goal here is to kind of bridge that gap and bring all of the incredible doctors that are talking about this to light and make it maybe make a little bit more sense, but most importantly, give everybody a chance to not feel so alone as we walk through this, because we're not, but there's a lot of things that make it feel that way, and we deserve to come together on this.
I love that. That's beautiful. And I bet there's also, I was thinking about this, there's probably the emotional components also of either shame or guilt, definitely anger, helplessness, maybe hopelessness. I can't imagine, I'm putting myself through all the different variables, like, women that save for a long time to do this. And then I'm sure insurance wise, it's not like you go in and say, yeah, you're gonna laugh, right? I know this, that you can go in and say, hey, I think my implants are making me sick. Can we take them out? Or, so I mean, expense, emotional, physical, scarring, physical. I mean, like what is there not wrapped up in this?
Yeah. Right. No, but really it touches on all of those things. It's, it's every piece of it, and it is expensive. And it is just emotional
in every way. And I'm sure there are people who've lost relationships.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just, yeah, across the board, so many things. All right. You're awesome. I'm super excited that you are courageous enough and committed enough to do the work it takes and to hit the stage in October at TEDxWoodinville. Any last things you want to leave the audience as they're getting to know a little bit about you? Any thoughts you'd like to leave us with? What's something quirky about you?
What's something quirky about me?
Yeah.
My entire existence. Have we met?
I almost spit that water out. That was awesome.
I honestly, I say I'm a real person because that's truly the best thing I am at being. Like, I don't know how to be fake anymore, which is great. right? It's been an interesting journey getting here, but now I don't even know how to go back, which is for good or ill, depending on.
No, no, I think it's probably awesome sauce, just saying.
There's been a lot of self-discovery the last few years, and I'm so grateful. I will say I have a quote that is kind of my go-to that I tell all of the women that I work with, and it's, when we align our expectations of beauty or our standards of beauty with what is healthy and what is real, then we no longer have to search for things to help us become more beautiful, right? Because we can just see what's already there and what already is.
I love that.
And that's my goal for this, right? I want every single woman, regardless of if breast implants is a thing or not, there's so many pieces to this that speak to the woman.
Exactly.
Right. I want you to hear, I want them to know that they're not alone in the journey, and you're beautiful, and we don't have to spend thousands of dollars to find it. You're already that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got a couple of shallow things to say. First of all, I'm totally digging the wave in the hair. I think that's boss. So I'm not sure how you did that, but that's awesome. And so I've been mesmerized by that. So it's so funny. And women, men, all of you, you don't need to wait till her TEDx talk comes out, because I'm pretty sure she has some social that she's rebuilding, and you could start already finding out now if there's a problem, or you wonder if there's a problem. What is the best way for people to go find you? This is going to be dropped on social media, but like, if right now somebody's like, I need to talk to her right now, what would they do?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can always email me directly at Cheyenne@explantsecrets.com. If my name is hard to remember to spell, you can also email me at info@explantsecrets.com, and it comes to the same place. But just because I get Cheyenne might but yeah, so you can always email me directly if you have questions. Explantsecrets.com is always available to you. Right now, I'm running a free summit on breast implant illness, which is actually August 17th. And so if you go to explantsecrets.com, we are, everything will show you all the free resources there for the summit. And then on social, my Instagram, I'm just using my personal Instagram now. I am Cheyenne B. And yeah, I mean, those are probably the easiest, because if you need me, just reach out to me. I'm really good at responding via email.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're going to be doing more of these as we go along on the way to the TEDx stage. And I thank you so much for spending some time with us today. And I personally love that you're our passionate crier of the group. So
I'm so glad.
People will learn.
If I try to be anything else, I just cry more.
People will learn to embrace that. So thank you. And we'll be back with more speakers.